those of you of watching us on Twitch, um, this is going to be kind of exclusive to YouTube. Um, so as an introduction, my name is Jim Crenity. My partner is Mike Martinez. We are the Wise
Yep.
Guys, and we're going to do something that we have never done before in the history of our show, and we thought it was going to be a very cool idea. So Michael, please continue.
So just backtracking, July 25th was the moment all Adam Sandler fans have waited for a very long time, as Happy Gilmore 2 premiered on Netflix. And it's only going to be on Netflix. This is something he did for them, like many of his films been in recent years. There it is. You knew the buildup was coming when, as Happy Gilmore, he announced a draft pick at the NHL draft. But with bated breath, Jim and I watched this movie, and we were expecting cameos at the Yin Yang. We got them. We were expecting Happy to be happy. We got it. Um, we were expecting hilarity. We got it. I mean, this didn't disappoint, James.
Which was what we were all thinking at one point. Is we certainly weren't expecting it to be Top Gun 2 level of that long of a gap to where you make the sequel, but it really, if you were going in there thinking that's what you were going to get, you were gonna be sadly mistaken and disappointed. If you were going in there thinking it was going to be the same kinda downtrodden, loser comeback story that the first one was, it did not disappoint. It made it worth a the Friday or Saturday that you ended up watching it.
That it did. Um, do you want to jump into plot, or do you want to discuss our favorite parts?
Yes.
Okay. So let's jump into plot. And very early in the movie, we see Happy hit an errant tee shot while he's on tour and very, very successful. That kills his wife, the lovely, lovely Virginia from the first movie, obviously becomes Claire Dunphy on Modern Family. Um, I was shocked. I mean, I sat there and went, wait, what? They killed her off? What the
In the
hell?
first 5 minutes?
Come on. Um, we talked about possible cast in this. I think Lavelle was a better option than Tiger Woods for Chubbs' son. I really do.
I was not a fan. I understand of where they were going with it. That character, of really anybody that they brought in, that character did not hit with me at all. That was, if I'm gonna nitpick, and it wasn't even Lavelle Edwards. I think the entire idea of the character being brought in, it just it was a huge swing and miss for me.
For me, it was a foul ball only because I don't think you swing and miss because in the story, he had to forgive himself for what happened in order for him to move on. He also needed something from Chubbs' kid because Chubbs is the one who reeled him back in when he made the run to his first gold jacket, beating Shooter on that one. Um, James, my favorite cameo was Boban.
That was legendary.
Him streaking to let Happy not get sobriety
Arrested.
field tested.
Yep.
Oh, God.
I mean, what my favorite cameo was, but we'll cover a bunch of them here. Um,
Bad
but
Bunny was awesome.
you know what? I didn't even realize that was him up until like about 5 hours ago.
Yeah, Bad Bunny. And my favorite part with him is when he hits the ball at his cousin. Oscar, you sicko.
Would you like breadsticks with that?
Okay. If we're going to Oscar, we have to go to the pro golfers in this thing. As good as the team that he went to play against the Maxi League against was Zalatoris was fucking great.
We knew Zalatoris was going to be in this when we talked about it, or earlier this year. We
But the way
I
they
had,
wrote him in as
I
the
had no
caddy
idea
from the first
Zalatoris
one.
had that level of chops in him.
Me neither, but the way they wrote him in as his caddy from the first one. And he chokes his guy out. He goes, now he gets it. Travis Kelce was great. It takes a real man to get honey painted on you by Bad Bunny and have a bear eat you. But the exchange between him and Xander, and before that, him and Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, him and Xander Schauffele, for as little as he was in there, had one of the bigger impacts. I will still go around every time I fall over anymore and there's a pile of something. I'm just going to be looking around going, there's a fork in my ass.
By the way, my favorite interaction with any of my friends that saw this movie, or anybody I know that saw this movie, and I, was Jim saying to me, I did not have Travis Kelce and Xander Schauffele having a "That's What She Said" contest on my 2025 bingo card. Travis was great, but the interaction with the older golfers and Sandler and Kelsey. I'll have Jack Nicklaus. I'll have a half lemonade, half tea. Oh, and Arnold Palmer. No, Jack Nicklaus, but I get that all the time. Or when he says to Trevino, or Trevino says, "How much is it going to cost to send you?" Or he says, "You're like a son to me, Happy. How much is it going to cost us to send your daughter to dance school? 300 grand. Good luck tomorrow. Hit him straight." But the guy who stole the show, there was two of them. There was John Daly, who was phenomenal.
We'll talk about John Daly here in a moment because there's a lot that's going to unwrap there.
And Scotty Scheffler.
Oh. There's a reason why he's the number one golfer in the world.
Do you think he stayed for chicken nugget night at the jail?
Let me. Was there a part? I couldn't have been the only one that thought this. When he's watching the final, when he's watching the end of the tournament in the prison cell, and the fact that he basically became like of the people that he was in the cell with,
The ringleader?
basically, was I wrong in looking at Scotty Scheffler and going, is Scotty Scheffler a 5-star Torres from the
Possible.
longest yard?
Possible. But when Happy shows him how to beat a guy in a hockey fight, and then he does it and knocks that dude out with one punch, and he goes, "No, not again." Turn around. I know the drill. I know the drill. Come on, Scotty. By the way, you know who played Billy, the one that beats him in the Tour Championship, right?
Yeah, that was Haley Joel Osment.
Who knew the guy from the kid from the Sixth Sense had comedy chops?
Yeah, yeah.
And the one who did the big bad, the main antagonist, that's the guy that directed I think this guy directed either Uncut Gems or one of the other ones. The one who played,
which I hadn't seen yet, but I need to.
Yeah. I mean, he honestly, because they opened it up to Netflix movies for the Oscar, he should have won. He was so anti Sandler in this. He should have won. Who else? We get the touching tribute to his son from Grown Ups who passed away from an epileptic seizure, as that's what was on TV when he goes to play golf with Eric Andre and those guys. Did you happen to notice who the the female behind the counter was in that scene?
I read who it was, and it is eluding me right now, but I did
It was
research it.
Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum. I mean, the best left-handed arm in the WNBA. Uh, how about all the places he was hiding liquor?
Even towards the end of the movie as well, yeah. In his putter, in the ball, in his range finder, in the bathroom stall,
Happy's wasted.
and you the happy place montage of fitting back into medium pants and
Cholesterol being low, laughing on the toilet. I mean, it just because we're closer to that age than we are the other one. It fits. Um, but yes, let's get to John Daly.
a couple other cameos. We did get. Oh, you did mention Eric Andre. I recognized him immediately. Um, his entire family cast in the movie. His wife, both of his kids, his daughter. Um,
Oh, the daughter at the end.
yeah,
The daughter at the end.
I didn't even
Remind me of
think
my.
of it until they said the line.
You remind me of my dad. Huh. And the fact they both look at the screen. They both broke the fourth wall for a second
Yeah,
and then go looking somewhere else. Of course, his Sonny, his younger daughter, was played his daughter in the movie. His wife played the ballet instructor. You have the kid who played Carl on Shameless as one of his sons. Two guys who I didn't recognize, and of course, we have the oldest son. The acting ability of one MJF. Uh, amazing. Just amazing. Steve Buscemi pissing on his mailbox was just great. I mean,
Max was just so good in this movie. It's like you and me were like we were eyeballing and we were thinking, is he going to be that good? Is it going to be like, overhyped because of how big of a fan we are with AEW? Um, this is not going to be the last time we're going to see Maxwell Jacob Friedman on the silver screen. And I think his
here's
roles are going to start going bigger and bigger before
here's
long.
a funny thing though. The two times we have seen him, he was in with Jeremy Allen White, who played Lip on Shameless, and this time he's in with the kid who played Carl. He's got to do a movie with Emmy Rossum, and he's set.
The two other cameos that I got out of that, uh, the female golfer from the Maxi team we talked about not even 20 minutes ago,
Becky
Rebecca
Lynch,
Quinn.
unreal. Oh, hold on, Shooter. We have to get to Shooter.
We're gonna get to Shooter, but we gotta save Shooter for a minute. But like, I kept looking. It's like, wait a minute, no, wait, holy fuck, that is Becky. I didn't even realize it at first because they never actually like put the camera on her. She was in the shot, but it wasn't. But it's like I didn't even recognize her until she started talking.
How about Reggie Bush?
Reggie Bush was good, but we all know that who my favorite cameo was.
Yes, it was Paige
Paige Spiranek, absolutely. When
when
we
he broke.
when we read earlier this year that there was going to be a possibility that there was going to be Paige Spiranek and a pre-American Eagle jeans Sydney Sweeney, I needed a cold shower.
Mhm.
After I watched that, it's like I need to see more Paige in movies, even if it's cameo shit like this, because for the few minutes that she was in there, yeah, she had your eye, but it was entertaining as hell because you weren't just staring at her.
You were watching her be mortified when he broke the screen.
Yep.
So let's do Daly and Shooter next. First of all, the fact that John Daly can't add in this thing is hilarious. 4 years, 75 grand. That's $333,000. John, that's 300 grand. That's terrible math. And then when they're doing all the when he gets fined, he wins the 495, and then he gets fined 500 for his stuff. You lost $50,000. It's 4,000, and all the boys are just as stupid. Or the hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I was just thinking the hand sanitizer.
Gotcha.
Because you got to remember to go feed John Daly before you go to bed tonight.
What'd he say?
Hi, Uncle John Daly.
Happy
The fact that they never actually did you notice every time that they talked to him, they addressed him as John Daly. It wasn't John, it wasn't Mr. Daly, it wasn't Uncle John, it was John Daly every time.
Happy, I won't be here much longer. I just put a down payment on a tent. But of course, if you're a Happy Gilmore fan, you wanted to see what happened to Shooter McGavin post running away from Jaws from Bond. Oh, wait. If you hit Jackass, there's one more we got to talk about. There's one more we got to talk about. How hilarious was Eminem?
Oh, you mean son of Jackass?
That was amazing.
You told me about that in the couple of days leading up to it, and I didn't believe you.
Apparently, he called him, and he said, "Hey, how'd you like to do this?" And M's like, "I'm there." He was there for one day. And to have him as that part there was perfect. The fact that he's fighting alligators in the pond and he yells, "Detroit what?" Or that he was bitten in the dick. Or that come on, you fake dinosaurs. I was done. Now, when I watched it, it was not on my big TV. It was actually on my phone. I had my earbuds in. I was up in my bedroom. I had to stop the movie because I was laughing so hard I didn't want to wake the kid. And then I turned it back on. And when MJF picks his ass up and they throw him in a friggin' pond, oh my God.
The all of the sons grabbing, getting the doll and just being nice and calm, and then Max just loses it, and then they all start beating the shit out of this thing.
Was Ben Stiller too over the top for you?
I don't think that character really could have been too over the top. Did it actually get to be? Did it get to be a little much? Absolutely, but I think they had to for the way that it came out in the end.
Yeah, I agree. So speaking of the way it came out in the end, let's get to the main antagonist of the first movie, and that is Shooter McGavin, who we see who has now been in a mental institution for 32 years. They ask him at his parole hearing, if you saw Happy Gilmore, what would you do? I would put a dozen golf balls in a pillowcase and beat the shit out of him. So Shooter gets out, and you have the standoff in a cemetery that is and this was great, and this is Sandler's big heart. It is every person who has passed away. Obviously, Virginia's grave is there too. Obviously, Julie Bowen is alive, but it's every other character who has passed away, and because all the actors have also passed away. That him and Happy fight on top of Grandma's grave, on top of Chubb's. You see,
Bob Barker.
You saw the guy, Bob Barker. You saw the Jackass guy. But when they're walking away, and you hear, "Mister, get me out of here," done.
And the grave just says Mista lady.
Exactly. To see them work together was pretty cool.
I gotta say, the start of that scene where Shooter is standing in front of Virginia's grave, and like he's kind of having that come to Jesus type moment of like, I shouldn't have had you get me a Coke, and then you hear Happy say it was a Diet Coke, and then you knew that they were going to end up having it out. Um, you kind of had the feeling that it wasn't going to be a revenge tour for Shooter.
No, you didn't. I think you got that feeling when he reacted to her being dead, and he looked genuinely shook by that. Um, but Christopher McDonald, I guess, only agreed to be Shooter in the first place years ago because he never played a villain. Because Sandler basically let him have the arc he wanted, and then when he brought in the second one, he said, Here's your redemption arc. Let's get this done." When he cocked the gun on the snow hole, and Sandler goes,
Can,
Sandler cocks the gun.
can we also talk about him as the training mentor to Rory, Bryson, Brooks,
Scotty
and Scotty?
Scheffler.
No.
Oh my God.
And
It
and what was it? Rory keep getting shot in the balls with the tennis balls or something.
it was the base. It was the batting cage, like from the first one, how he toughened up. Uh, I
And
just
just all of them kind of huddled around uh when his caddy goes in there and just basically is like catching everything like, it's nothing.
I mean, I could watch that movie again. I
Yeah.
really could.
I think I'm gonna have to, yeah, because it was
I
like
think
one
I'm
of
gonna
those.
have to.
Like started it and then it's like I waited 3 hours and then I finished it. It's one of those you have to go all the way through.
Yeah, I did the same thing. And again, Sandler with the heart of gold. Anybody who watched Tommy Boy, the end of the movie is a tribute to his late friend Chris Farley at the end of Tommy Boy. Um, Jim, I give this a full dozen balls.
The other thing that did not happen in the movie, did you see what came out as like a behind the scenes clip a couple of days after the movie released,
No,
where he presents completely to Christopher McDonald's surprise his own gold jacket.
I did see that. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Obviously, because Christopher everybody knew about it but Christopher McDonald.
That's awesome.
And then apparently, and I guess also there was an interview that they did with Julie Bowen where when she read the script and they asked her to kind of reprise the Happy Place thing with the really cheap lingerie and the pictures of beer and everything, she's like, "Yeah, it's tacky. I'm gonna have to do this, aren't I?"
My favorite was the interview that they did. It was her, it was Sandler, and it was Christopher McDonald. And they asked about Travis Kelsey.
Yeah,
And she's like, I had no fear of it. And McDonald's like, I was really impressed. I figured it was just some stupid football player. Are you Shooter all day, bro?
there was also a lot of rumors going around. It's like, was Taylor going to make like a cameo, or was she going to show up? Apparently, she did not. Um, And I'm like, I was hearing like a few reports out there that like Travis was like trying to, but just the schedules weren't, linking up.
I had read the same thing because that would have been hilarious. That would have been absolutely hilarious.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
I
It
did
the
too.
only part of the movie that did not really hit well for me was the majority of the Maxi playoff. Um, Maybe the final third of the movie, you know, I could definitely tell it was a comedy, but there was like it's almost like that they were trying for a cheap laugh or going too hard and some of it missed.
A
Um,
little bit. A little bit.
the when the final hole starts spinning and they throw the clubs up in the air and they end up catching the same ones and everything. That that worked, but it was too long of a buildup to it.
Yes.
Had they kept
Yes.
it, stupid for the majority, I think it actually would have hit a little bit better, but it definitely looked like that they were trying to go a little harder than they needed to during that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. The thing that I enjoyed the most about that scene was when Bad Bunny fell on his face and the ball goes in.
I was I'm like, "Don't throw up, don't throw up. I just had lunch. Don't throw up, don't throw up."
Nice. Oh boy. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I certainly would as well, and now it's like, we're almost gonna have to start thinking, what other movies are gonna get remade, that we're gonna have to see. I'm hearing mixed to negative reviews about the Naked Gun remake that came out, over the weekend. Um,
Did
Michael
you
has his
have on
hand
your
raised.
did you have on your 2025 bingo card that Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson would actually be a couple in real life?
I heard about that earlier in the week, and I'm like, you and I talked about it on the phone when we were talking about like pitching what we're doing here right now. It's good for both of them, especially
Mhm.
Liam Neeson. It's certainly and I'm not saying that for like out kicking his coverage or dating somebody nearly 20 years his junior. But just with everything that he's had, and he never kind of really recovered after Natasha Richardson's accident. But it's Pamela's really kind of rebounded. What she had like an Oscar or a Golden Globe nomination a couple of
Mhm.
years ago for the Showgirl. Um, but I would, you're right. That is definitely one that was not on anybody's bingo card.
No. Um, but yeah, no, this is something we've got to do more often. Um, I have a few ideas. We'll talk about them off the air because it it's time for band practice, James.
Well, for those of you on Twitch and also on YouTube, thank you very much for joining us here with the Wise Guys Go to the Movies.
Ah,
And I will actually have everything cut here for this. This will get uploaded very soon. We will be doing this again with more movies. Hopefully, none of them will be Star Wars. Um, that's not going to happen, Michael. But we will see you guys in the next one.
absolutely.